The battle for Carson Reach had passed the point of strategy. It was no longer a contest of tactics or firepower, but of endurance, and the coalition had none left. What remained of the Allied fleet drifted in fractured formations, broken hulls venting atmosphere into the void. Emergency lights flickered on shattered bridges. Damage control teams fought fires that refused to die. The stars themselves were hidden behind clouds of debris and ionized gas. Across the tactical display aboard the flagship Resolute Dawn, red indicators multiplied like an infection. The enemy fleet, the Mongvoral Collective, advanced with mechanical precision. Their ships were smooth, identical, and terrifyingly efficient. They did not celebrate victories. They did not pursue glory. They simply erased resistance, one system at a time. They had never lost a war. Admiral Terral stood at the center of the bridge, hands clasped behind his back, posture rigid more from habit than confidence. His eyes burned from hours of staring at the tactical map, watching familiar call signs wink out of existence. Another coalition cruiser vanished in a silent flash. The officer at sensors swallowed hard. "The Iron Veil is gone, sir." Terrell closed his eyes for a brief moment. That ship had carried 6,000 souls. "Time to breach?" he asked quietly. The tactical officer didn't look up. 2 minutes, 40 seconds until they reached the command ring. No one argued. No one suggested alternatives. They had already tried everything. Flanking maneuvers, concentrated volleys, feints, even a last-ditch gravitational minefield. The Voral had adapted instantly, dismantling each plan as if it had been rehearsed. The truth settled heavily over the bridge. They were going to die here. Communications channels filled with fragmented messages from other ships, final status reports, requests for orders, voices straining to remain professional as fear crept in. "We're out of torpedoes. Shields failing on Deck 9. We can't hold much longer." Terral listened to them all, committing names and voices to memory. An admiral was supposed to project certainty, leadership, hope. But there was none left to give. The communications officer approached hesitantly. "Admiral, should we prepare a surrender signal?" Terral looked at him. The Voral were not known for mercy. Surrender meant survival for a few, followed by assimilation or extinction. Entire cultures reduced to data and labor. "No," Terral said after a long pause. The word felt heavier than any command he had ever issued. He turned back to the tactical display and to a small hidden menu that most officers pretended didn't exist. Restricted emergency contacts. Only one entry was active. It was marked with warning symbols in every coalition language. Prohibited species, humanity. The room seemed to grow colder. An aide noticed where he was looking. "Sir, we can't." "I know," Terral replied. "The coalition charter forbade contact with humans in wartime. Not because humans were untrustworthy, but because they were unpredictable. Their methods were brutal, their losses extreme, their victories devastating. Wars involving humans ended quickly, and never cleanly." "You said the battle is lost," the aide whispered. Terral nodded slowly. "Exactly." Another explosion rocked the flagship. Consoles sparked. A section of the display went dark. The Voral advance accelerated. "We have seconds," the tactical officer said. Terral straightened. "Open a channel," he ordered. The communications officer hesitated. "What message should we send, sir? Coordinates? Tactical data?" "No," Terral said. He chose his words carefully. "Send only this: we are losing." The officer stared at him. "Nothing else?" "That's all they need." The message was transmitted, brief, unencrypted, and desperate, vanishing into subspace toward a region of space the coalition rarely acknowledged. For several heartbeats, nothing happened. Then something changed. The Voral fleet slowed. Not much, but enough. Enemy formations shifted, weapons charging but not firing. "They've detected the transmission," sensors reported. "Are they responding?" someone asked. "No," the officer replied slowly. "They're hesitating." Terral exhaled. The bridge fell silent as everyone stared at the tactical display, watching the enemy pause for the first time since the war began. No one spoke. No one dared hope. Because everyone on that bridge knew the same terrifying truth. If the humans answered, the battle might be saved. But the galaxy would never be the same again. For 20 seconds after the transmission, nothing happened. Space remained littered with wreckage. Fires still burned on fractured hulls. The Voral Collective held position, weapons charged, their formations tight and disciplined. Then reality itself screamed. Coalition sensors overloaded as space-time folded inward. Not opening cleanly, like a standard jump corridor, but tearing apart as if forced open by raw insistence. The distortion rippled outward, bending light, crushing gravity readings into nonsense. What is that?" a sensor officer whispered. The answer arrived before anyone could respond. A fleet erupted into existence. No elegant emergence, no warning flare, no deceleration curve. They were simply their human ships. They were not beautiful, not symmetrical, not uniform. Each vessel looked like it had been built, repaired, rebuilt, and then dared to fight again. Armor layered over older armor, hulls scarred, patched, welded. Some ships carried visible damage that had never been repaired. Trophies of survival rather than neglect. Coalition sensors screamed. Energy readings exceeded known limits. Heat signatures fluctuated wildly. Power output spiked, dipped, then stabilized in ways no predictive model could explain. The Voral Collective stopped moving. For the first time since the battle began, their perfect formations fractured, not in retreat, but in uncertainty. An incoming transmission cut across every channel. No encryption, no preamble. The image resolved into a bipedal figure wearing scarred combat armor, marked with an ancient human symbol. His face bore old injuries. His eyes were calm in a way that felt deeply unsettling. "Who called?" the human asked. Admiral Terrell swallowed. "We did," he said. "The battle is lost." The human nodded once. No judgment, no hesitation. "Understood." The Voral commander finally broke its silence. "Human," it said coldly. "This conflict does not concern your species. Withdraw." The human tilted his head slightly, as if considering the request. "No," he said. One word. Human ships moved, not in neat formations, not in synchronized waves. They spread. Some accelerated straight toward the Voral line. Others flanked wide, slipping into blind spots, cutting off escape vectors before the enemy realized what was happening. A few powered down weapons entirely, drifting silently into positions that made coalition officers deeply uncomfortable. "They're not charging," a tactical officer whispered. "They're hunting." The Voral fired first. A wall of energy tore through space. Human shields flared, then held. Human ships did not slow. They pushed forward, through the barrage, armor glowing, systems screaming, momentum unbroken. One cruiser slammed directly into a Voral destroyer, crushing it in a spray of molten debris. Boarding craft launched mid-collision, breaching hulls while both ships were still moving. "This is madness!" the Voral commander shouted. "Your losses are unacceptable!" The human's lips curved into a faint smile. "War usually is," he replied. A human frigate detonated deliberately, overloading its core at point-blank range. 3 Voral ships vanished with it. Coalition officers stared in horror. "Did they just—" someone began. "They're not sacrificing themselves," Admiral Terrell said quietly, awe creeping into his voice. "They're trading." Human ships advanced relentlessly, pressing into ranges no rational species would tolerate. Where Voral tactics relied on efficiency and preservation, humans operated on a different principle entirely. Refusal to retreat. Voral formations began to buckle. Their commanders issued conflicting orders. Ships collided while attempting to disengage. Precision dissolved into chaos. "Commander!" a Voral officer cried. "Their ships keep advancing even when disabled." Human vessels with shattered engines continued firing. Ships venting atmosphere launched boarding parties anyway. Damaged hulls were used as kinetic weapons, ramming enemy craft with brute force. "They don't care about survival," the officer shouted. The human commander leaned closer to the camera. "No," he said calmly. "We care about ending things." Within minutes, the Voral line collapsed. Some ships fled into hyperspace. Others powered down entirely, broadcasting surrender signals in every known code. Silence fell across Carson Reach. The human commander turned back to Admiral Terrell. "You said you were losing," he said. "Yes," Terrell replied. The human nodded. "You were." He paused, eyes hardening just slightly. "Don't call us unless it's that bad." The transmission ended. Human ships vanished as violently as they had arrived, tearing holes in space-time that sealed behind them like scars healing over. The battlefield was quiet. The coalition had survived. Later, historians would ask why the galaxy feared humans so deeply. The answer was simple. Because when logic says surrender, when hope is already dead, when the battle is truly lost. Humans still answer the call.